Hello everybody, this is my first video, so bear with me. So what I want to talk about is Fusion 360 and basically going to play with how quickly I can jump into this program with previous knowledge of another program. That other program is called NX, or previously known as Unigraphics, and NX is quite difficult to get your hands on, so anyone that's wanting to jump into CAD, I would say Fusion is going to be the most friendly way to go. So I'm going to go to this left panel and start a new project, and I'm going to call it Austin Dreams of Autodesk, a ripoff of Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. And so click outside the box and that will create the new project. And so I like to think of this as a folder. And so double click on that folder and you'll see that it is empty, which is great because that means it is ready to save your work. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the data panel, and with one look it doesn't really seem that this program can do a lot, being that there's not many switches, icons, and commands all over the place. But that's kind of the beauty of the program, because all of your options and commands are all organized away neatly. And like most Autodesk programs, your view cube is going to be on the right. So I want to talk about how my workflow in NX can be done in Fusion. So I'm going to be making profile sketches of where my surface is going to go onto those. And so I'm going to change my dimensions to inches just for easy understanding. And so I'm going to create a sketch on the first plane, and I'll just create a box. Put some simple dimensions in. And then I'm going to create a spline. And that spline is going to run through the X and Y of one side to the box to the other. So I want to create a point, place down the other one, right click OK. And now these little anchors I'm going to create, or I'm going to make them directly up and down, so they're constrained to the X and they're constrained to the Y. And then this point I can just play around with and mess with the curve. And once I'm done with that sketch, I can go ahead and make the next sketch on another plane. Also, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the tree, and my sketch will be documented there. And now I'm going to quickly whip up the next two sketches on the other planes. So now we have these curves jutting out into space, and this is going to become the framework to this corner that's going to be a surface. So I'm going to extrude each of these curves. So you're in the patch mode, and it does not matter the dimension at which it comes out, as long as they're directly along each axis. And the third one is going to go straight down. And so I have this surface that I have to fill in, and each of those corners is going to be tangent with those surfaces. So we're going to go into patch, and if you just click, it wants to select the boundary lines of the surfaces. So you're going to go to you're going to uncheck the enable chaining and then just go for those inside surfaces or inside lines. And so they're connected, but they're not tangent. So you're going to have to go into the continuity and go down to tangent. And so now it's all smooth. And there's a difference between curvature and tangent. I could talk about that later or in another video, but for this case you're going to want tangent. And so now that is continuously smooth. And so I'm going to hide these surfaces, and now I just have that smooth corner. And so the reason I wanted the surface to go smooth into the next or straight into an axis is so that I can mirror it over, and that becomes one smooth arc. So I'll mirror it again on the bottom plane. And so that is now smooth. And then I'll do it once more. 1, 2, 3, 4 along this plane. And now I have a complete smooth object, blobject. So I'm going to turn all of this into a solid. So connect each one. And in the operation, you'll see join, cut, intersect, and new body. I want to create a new body. Join will just connect them, but it won't fill in the inside. So I want to click new body. And there we go. And that is one solid chunk. And you'll notice each of these splines that created the blob is now editable, and it will change the blob. So let's say I want to change the profile of this sketch. So I just go into the sketch, edit the sketch. I'm going to grab this point of the spline, and I can play around with it, move the anchor points. So I'll just drag it back, change the profile a bit, finish the sketch, and it's going to update with that new profile line. And you'll notice that the blob has changed. So this was just a small rudimentary explanation of how I like to build in 3D. What I like about it is that it's very scalable, in that I can build profile sketches on planes anywhere in space and kind of bridge between them to create smooth surfaces. And just to prove that this is a solid, I'm going to cut through it. So I'll offset a plane from the origin, create a sketch, and then I'm going to go into the model mode and just extrude that profile and cut it right through, and you'll see that it's cutting into a solid. So I think I'm going to end this video here. I don't want it to be too drawn out. In another video, I'll make a more complicated design, and I'll talk about how this modeling style works for me. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'm not new to the program, but I've been away from it for quite a bit, and I think I'm going to really enjoy digging back into it. So let me know what you think. Thanks for your time, and happy CAD modeling.